All right, we are back with episode 3 of Cleats Spreadsheets. I, once again, am Brady Keiss,
Sutton Sabinash.
and we are back here to talk a little bit about some big news in the NFL. We have Aaron Rodgers signing. We're going to go through the NFL schedule, our thoughts
Massive.
on the whole schedule. I mean, everything from week 1 all the way through up until that final week. Big games, big matchups. Who's got the strength schedule? Who's got some easy schedules? We're going to talk about it all. Along with that, we're going to talk about a little bit of the group chat coming to life. We had some big things talking about in the group chat this week that we just have to air out and bring onto the podcast. So I think it's going to be fun. And then we're going to touch a
Therapeutic for us.
little bit. Exactly. We're going to touch a little bit on the NBA and NHL playoffs.
Hell yeah. Well, let's get into this thing. And before we
Let's do
kick
it.
off too, just want to say I appreciate you. You were the only believer in my entire ecosystem of people that I was going to finish
There it is.
the half marathon. This was my little name tag
12,
last week.
18.
I've got the finisher medal right here.
That's
Um,
incredible.
Yeah, I know that we closed the last episode with it, so I thought we'd start this one to bring that full circle. You were the only one who believed in me, so thank you.
Is it,
I needed
are,
someone
are
in my
you being
corner.
real? Are you being for real? Nobody else believed in you?
Not one person. Everyone said I was gonna get like crazy shin splints, that I would have like a stress fracture, that I would end up walking like a ton of it, that it would take me like 4 hours if I was gonna get it done. Just over 2 hours, which like I'm not saying I'm breaking any world records, right? But like for somebody that's never ran more than a mile in one sitting in their life, like, hey, a 2 hour and 4 minute half marathon, I'm pretty proud of it. So
I just am so mind blown that nobody was with you.
it's not only that
Besides
nobody was
me,
with me, nobody even like it wasn't even like, well, give it a go. It was like you're an idiot. Like you're gonna hurt yourself. So like I really appreciated it, man. That was awesome.
well, thank you. I mean, I guess that's just how many of those. Here's a real question I want to ask you. How many of those people that were saying you were crazy have ever done anything close to what you just did?
One was Steve, who has run like 3 marathons, Steve being my dad. So he was like, you're fucked. Um, and the other people are like fitness-ish people, but like not
Really?
like
Okay.
runners. So I kind of
Gotcha,
did
man.
listen. Yeah, it wasn't just like, Joe Schmo eating chips on the couch that it was like
Okay.
people that
Wow.
do it. My thought, my honest opinion is that they were gatekeeping it a little bit. Like you're not gonna be able to do it. Like it's like hard. You know what I mean? Like if they've done it, they don't want me to be able to do it. That was my thought. But
Gotcha.
yeah,
Man,
it was
well,
crazy.
I gotta tell you, I'm proud of you. Congratulations on finishing it. And I
Thank you,
might
thank
start
you.
calling you 1218.
12-18.
That might be my
Dude,
new nickname for you.
awesome. With my little finisher medal here.
So
Yeah,
funny.
super proud, man.
That's
Got some
awesome.
good pics on the gram if anyone wants to see it, but nobody else
Oh
wants
yeah.
to hear that. So let's go into the
Let's go into it.
Aaron Rodgers signing.
Yeah, so we talked about it a little bit last week. This is still when he did not sign. He signed only what 2 days ago,
Yep.
was it? We talked a lot about it though. Where there's some different things about betting that we talked about. His under overs that you've bet in the past. We talked
Yep.
about Michael Pittman. We talked about Rico. Didn't really touch a whole lot on DK just because it wasn't a big
Yeah.
move. But I think now we can touch on him a little bit too and say
Yeah.
what it means for the Steelers.
Yeah, man, I'm honestly super stoked. I know if you watched the last episode, but just to reiterate, I don't think either of us doubted that Aaron Rodgers was coming back. So this is just
Mhm.
a solidification of what we assumed was going to happen anyways. Honestly, a little bit sooner than I thought. I thought we were going to have to wait
Yeah.
till June. We're getting it here mid to end of May. And he showed up to camp the next day, which is awesome. So I mean, like, hey, he's in the building, he's rocking, he's rolling. Um, I'm not going to reiterate like the as in depth as we went last episode on what
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
this means, but like once again, super bullish on Rico. I think the offense this year is going to be solid in Pittsburgh. I like it. I love it for Rodgers. I like it for Rodgers in fantasy. Do I think like Rodgers is going to be a top tier quarterback? No, of course not.
No.
But if you're in a 6 point touchdown, we'll get to betting. I know in subsequent episodes, but I think he's got guys going to get you 22, 23 touchdowns this season. I think he's a decent bye week option in a 6 point. I think it's great for football, great for the Steelers. Don't love it for Pittman and DK's values
Mhm.
just because they're competing with each other, but honestly, love it for the Steelers. Excited that he's there, and yeah, I mean, I'll be talking about the bets, and I'll definitely be putting money behind this. So
Yeah. Okay. So here's another part of this that I want to kind of bring up. What do you think about Mike McCarthy now being back with Aaron Rodgers? Now in Pittsburgh, how do you think that's going to play out? Because there was different people that like they at the end. There's a lot of talks that they did not get along. They didn't see eye to eye in the offense, but new place. I don't know. Some they went their
Yeah.
separate ways, both growing up a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Mike McCarthy, Aaron Rodgers, and I think time always heals ego
Yes.
in situations like this, right? So you have a Mike McCarthy who, at the time, was in a great run, Super Bowl, Green Bay. You have Rodgers, Super Bowl, Green Bay, kind of the conflicting egos. They both were on their way, both had their ways
Hmm.
out a little bit.
Yep.
They're both getting the back half of that prime, as you want to call it. And I think you start to see some of that animosity build up. Now I think you have two guys. McCarthy's gone through a few jobs. Rodgers has gone through an Achilles tear, his second team since being on the Packers. I think at the end of the day, it's one of those like, hey, let's kumbaya. Let's
Yes.
sail off into the sunset together. We had our best moments together. Let's forget that middle ground where we each got a little bit shaky and let's just kind of ride it out. As I said, yeah, ride it
Totally.
out into the sunset. So I'm actually pretty
Totally.
pumped
Yeah.
about it.
I'm really excited to see how it goes. I do think that if this is not a great year, Mike McCarthy will not last very long in
No,
Pittsburgh. And that is the only downfall of being back with Rodgers is like, is it going to be like Rodgers is what, 43? He's going to be
yeah,
43 this year.
yep,
Is it is it crucial for this year for Mike McCarthy for it to go right and for the Steelers to be a playoff run team to be able to keep his
100%.
career going as a head coach?
I think it's actually the exact same situation for the both of them. I think
Yeah.
they're going to ride off into the sunset together, either in a good way or they're both getting fired. They're not going to see another job. It's either Rodgers,
Yeah.
swan song and McCarthy's swan song, or they both have a playoff year and we see where it goes. I think they literally are hitching the trailer to each other here.
Okay. Okay. So last little bit that I'm going to ask you on this. Do you think this will be the final year for Aaron Rodgers?
Yes.
I 100% agree. This is it, no matter what it is, if it's a Super Bowl or if they go 1-15.
Yep.
What is it? Yeah. If they go 1-15, I still
Wait,
think this
it's
is the last
17.
year.
Yeah, because it's 17
17.
games, six.
So
Seven,
one
isn't
in
that
16.
17 games now? We
We
should
should
know
know that.
this.
We should
We
know
should
this.
know this. It's week 17 games? 17 games, 1 in
17.
16.
1-16.
Yeah,
But yeah, okay.
because like the week 18. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So 1-16. I think no matter what, this is Aaron Rodgers last year where he
Yep.
can ride off into the darkness as he has done before. And
Yeah.
yeah. So
It's gonna be sad,
now,
but we'll talk about
it,
that later though.
yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Now let's actually get onto the schedule. We can see full 17 weeks of
Yeah.
football that we can get into.
Yeah, I think let's start first and foremost with just you know, kind of talking through the strength of schedule, strictly based on teams win-loss percentages last year. I think this is a fairly interesting way to look at it to start.
Hmm.
Um, so I'll kind of go through and we could kind of rock and roll from there.
Yep.
The easiest schedule at 42.9% last season, so the easiest win-loss percentage is the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to start off with a bit of collusion and say that I think the NFL really wants Shador Sanders on the news. They really
You,
want the Shador Sanders news cycle. And
this is
yes, I
some
think that's
conspiracy
playing
here,
in,
right
and
here.
yes, I think that's playing an impact on them
Wow.
having the easiest schedule so that he can have some big games, he can have some early wins, and that news cycle can sell itself. I think they know what that means for the NFL, what it means for ratings.
Hmm.
We've even seen it on our content. It's so funny. We did a piece, a clip on Dylan Gabriel, and 98% of the comments were saying, well, Shador is worse. It's like, we didn't even talk about him. We never even mentioned his name in that clip. And everybody was ready to just talk shit about him. And the NFL knows this. And I think that's why they gave the Browns the easiest schedule in the year so that he can
That's
come
so
out
funny.
hot.
That's so funny. So you are calling collusion on the NFL?
Yes, 100%. I think they're trying to put
Wow.
Shador in a spot to succeed. Yes.
From the easiest schedule right here, Sutton Sabnash is calling collusion on the NFL. Incredible early prediction on the easiest schedule. That's incredible.
I'm also going to follow and say that so that we'll go through the top five here. So we got the Browns,
Yeah.
the Saints, the Bengals, the Falcons,
Really?
and then the Colts. And my actually most noteworthy one in there is the Bengals at number three. Because Joe Burrow sells same thing, right? NFL quarterback, he's been on the Netflix special. He is one of the like obviously pretty boys and he hasn't been able to get that he hasn't been able to have that playoff run since was it 2021? Was it the Rams? I think it was 2021.
Incredible.
They haven't been able to have that. I think the same thing that they're trying to put Burrow on another pedestal because that's such a high selling and high powered offense between Burrow, Brown, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and that defense has been
Wow.
so bad. I think they're giving a little bit of a cakewalk to give Burrow that chance to have
So
better
you think
seating come
all
December.
these schedules are based off of full on ratings?
I'm I'm very, very much in that boat of the NFL more now more than ever, and we'll get into the international games and things like that,
Hmm.
and how much they're trying to become a worldwide sport, how much they're trying to push
Yeah.
um, their biggest athletes and their biggest players, and who
Yeah.
sells the most, right? I 100% am on the bandwagon of the NFL strictly doing stuff now, and or at least now more than ever, in following trends and following ratings.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a business. All of these sports avenues that we are watching, that we're talking about, it's a business. It comes down to how can we make money? It's not about who, at the end of the day, really who wins and loses if they're making money.
Yep.
That's all they
Yep.
want. That's all they care about. So I mean, as much as I don't want to say that, yeah, they're just like setting things up for teams, I don't doubt it. I really
It's
don't doubt it.
like,
So let me ask you this though. Okay, so from those five teams, do you think any of those teams will be above, let's say, first off, how many of those five teams do you think will be playoff teams?
one,
Just the Bengals,
just the Bengals. I
not the
think even with
Colts.
nah, no, not with I'm still uncertain on the QB side. I the rest of the offenses there still a bit uncertain on the QB side to think that they could be a playoff team.
Okay, so now let's say, how many wins do you think that the Browns get this year? Have you looked
Oof.
at the full schedule yet for them?
We'll get into the week by week. I haven't seen the actual like I don't have on the top of my head. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
have
yeah,
remember the game by game, but we can kind of hit
yeah.
that for team, and
Okay, yeah,
I'll give
let's
my
do it.
over under on that. But
Let's do it. You have the
once
hardest
again though,
ones.
yeah, yeah. But once again, the hardest ones now we'll go to the other side, and this is also playing into my
Uh-oh.
conspiracy. So you've got the Chicago Bears, which I think is interesting, right? Because Caleb Williams, it's a great story last year. I also think, aside from the Lions, which you'll see with their schedule, they just have a really favorable one outside of the division, which once again, I think Detroit, I think they're number 7, I believe it was. They were that really Cinderella story that I think the NFL, they might be a little bit past it, but the NFL still wants to happen. The Bears, Vikings, Packers, they're always going to be there because they're all so
Yeah,
good and they have to play each other however many times a year. So like that's a little
yeah,
difficult to like judge their rankings amongst everyone
yeah.
else because they have to play each other.
I very
So
much easily think that that is the best division of football.
by far,
By
by
far the best
far,
division of football.
which is really interesting. It's also the best division in baseball, the NL
Yeah,
Central. So it's
yes.
like
Yes.
that pocket of the Midwest, man, is
And
cooking
let's
right now in
talk about the
sports.
Midwest a little bit, huh?
Yeah, I mean, literally, but yeah, between both of those, and then you got the Cavs too now that are popping up.
Yeah.
You had Minnesota in it too. I mean,
Oh
something's
yeah.
happening in the Midwest right now. Midwest sports are starting to run. But I'm just gonna say, so out of those 5 teams, you got to take the Bears and Packers out of it because of that.
Mhm, yeah.
But the other ones are the Chiefs, which, hey, they need the marquee games, right? And like Mahomes coming back, I'm not too worried about them having the fifth hardest. But the other two play into my collusion, which are the Arizona Cardinals and the Dolphins. They just ratings sucks. No, like nobody cares about watching those two teams,
Yeah.
right? Like even if I know that they just got Love, in Arizona. I've talked about my love for Malik Willis in the last episode, but with making a team like the Browns have the easiest schedule, when you look at perennial losers, right? Which you would say the Cardinals, the Dolphins, the Browns, the
Yeah.
Jets right in the middle, Browns at the top. And then you
Wow.
got the Cardinals and Dolphins with absolute the most difficult schedule. That's actually a crazy thing. Is Arizona's the first team in NFL history to not be favored in a single game with the first all the spreads came out. They're literally favored. They're not favored in any game. They're supposed to go 0-17 this year.
What?
Yes, that's how hard their schedule is. Yeah, they're literally not favored in one single game, and they're like 7 to 13 plus point underdogs in almost every game. Crazy.
I feel like there's some money to be made there.
So do I. And we'll talk about that in betting episodes.
I'm
But I'm
just
just saying to give teams like Miami and Arizona those difficult to schedules, and then you have a team like the Browns like that, where they don't have that marketable Shador Sanders that the NFL is trying to push. Interesting.
wow.
Interesting. Interesting.
That is very interesting. Man, I'm excited to see how these schedules and like
Yeah.
how everything can change during the season. It's like
Oh my gosh, of
teams can
course.
like we're so far away from the season, but to have that be right now,
Yeah.
it's really, really interesting to see because it is those big names. Exactly what you're saying. People want to hear and talk about Shador,
Yep.
and people really don't care about Miami or Arizona. They just
No,
don't.
just
Eh,
don't
eh,
give a shit. And you just see it like look at the
Wow.
teams like the other teams that are up there. You got the Browns, you said the Saints who have like so many marketable players now on offense.
Yeah.
I just you got the Bengals with Burrow.
Where are the
The
Giants at?
the Giants are 16th. So right in the middle.
16th. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Very nice. Very nice. I mean, yeah, I mean the it doesn't surprise me with the ones that are up there, you know, just in some of the like you got to talk about divisions a little bit just with
Yeah,
who they're playing because you're playing them twice.
of
Like
course.
the teams that are we talked about who you said who from the Central was in the top five?
You got the Bears, you got the Packers,
Bears and
and then
Packers.
and then the Vikings are like there. So like they're 22nd. But the Lions have a super jump. The Lions are actually sixth, which is
Sixth
nuts.
hardest or sixth easiest?
Sixth easiest. So it's nuts when you go to so I'm going easiest. So the Vikings being 22nd means that that's a 22nd. Like the 32nd is the hardest. First is the easiest.
Okay,
So we're going
okay, okay,
easiest too.
okay.
So I'm saying every like three of the four are in the bottom 10.
Yeah,
Two
okay.
are in the bottom
Gotcha.
five. But then you have
Gotcha.
literally the Lions, which is pretty nuts when you consider that like all teams are supposed to kind of play similar, right, in the same division. And you have a team
Yeah.
like the Lions then that has that much of a jump, which is literally what
So
fourth
they're outside of division has to be a
easy.
cakewalk.
It's a cakewalk. And we'll get into
Yeah,
week
we'll
by week
definitely
and
get into that.
you'll see that. But yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Wow. I'm pulling up what you have here
Yeah.
because I want to
But yeah, so long story short, that's just my take on the easiest to hardest schedule is that when I look at it, it looks like pure manipulation to me this year. But we'll see how that plays out.
I love that. So yeah, okay. The Bengals, Falcons, Colts. I just want to see where some of these
Is that right?
you got the Jags at 11, the Eagles at 10, Ravens. Some of these teams that are not very good are pushed to the top of that schedule, which is kind of crazy that
Yeah.
the teams that you'd think would be that shouldn't have the easy schedule.
Yeah. That like you could give them a bit more, give them a bit more to work with. Yeah.
Yeah, it's also just because they're not very good teams. You'd think that they're usually playing against teams that are probably better than them.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so let's move on to
I want to move
our
on to one more quick just data note or
yeah,
data
yeah.
note, which actually kind of relates, and you can cut me off, but if you want to share, what has to do with air miles traveled, which I found to be a really fascinating
Oh man.
discrepancy. Do you want to give your background? I'm not
Yeah, so
gonna.
I
Yeah.
will 100% give some background to it. So we have seen in Banana Ball, right? So we have six teams in Banana Ball: the Bananas, the Party Animals, the Firefighters, the Texas Tailgaters, the Loco Beach Coconuts, and the Indianapolis Clowns. So from those teams, we have seen everybody's distance traveled, and the first five teams, not including the Party Animals, they're all anywhere between 23 and like 24, 25,000 miles this year. Where the Party Animals, we travel anywhere between 45 and 48,000 miles on the year. So
That's double.
we are more than double the travel. So this week we are playing in Tacoma, Washington, where we were just in Indianapolis, and the week before that we were in Las Vegas, and we were in
Then
Where else?
Atlanta.
We were at New York, and then we went to
Yeah.
Las Vegas, and we went to Atlanta. So we're on
So
different
literally,
sides of the country, different time zones all the time. So I can speak very much to this. The travel does something to you.
and this is
Playing in
baseball,
different
right?
time zones,
Yeah.
this is baseball. This does something to you. Sleep goes very, very much along with recovery. If you are not able to recover, you cannot play at the top of your ability. So I would love to hear what you have
Yeah.
on some of this
I
with
knew
the
that this one was
NFL.
going to strike a nerve with you, so I wanted
Oh,
to
it
hit on
does.
it.
I love it.
I wanted to hit on it in this
Let's hear
discussion.
it.
So the most air miles this year is the 49ers with 37,862 air miles.
So less than us.
Less than the party animals, which
Less
is
than the party.
crazy. Less than the party animals, which is
But
crazy.
no, that is in six. They only play 16 games. We play
17 games. But
17 games.
yes.
Sorry. We play 60. I know. I got to get
Yes.
better at that. Holy cow.
But
Um,
but this is the disparity I wanted to mention, which is
yeah.
crazy. The Panthers travel 8,641. It's not
Wow.
even close. Like not even close. That like disparity is like unbelievable. Now, there's an outlier. The 49ers do travel
Hmm.
to Melbourne
Got to
for
be
week for
overseas.
for
Yep.
for week 1, which is 15,000 miles, almost 16 by itself. Um, which we can also I'd like to talk about, which is let me actually finish this and then I'm gonna go into because I actually
Yeah.
want a
Yep.
whole
Yep.
conversation on that. Yeah, the Giants and Eagles obviously have the most interesting one because they barely have to travel to play each other. In weeks, yeah, they have 160 to play each other. Another fun note that I saw here, it says tonight, despite playing an international series in Paris, the Steelers travel fewer air miles um, than the 49ers will for their first week matchup. Like, that's like nuts.
Wait. Say that again.
So the Steelers have a game in Paris,
Hmm.
even including that game. They have less air miles on the season than the Rams and 49ers do week 1 just to get to Melbourne.
Okay. So you're saying that they have just in the 49ers week one, they have more miles than they would have the entire season.
Yes, and they have an international
Wow.
game themselves, which is what's interesting. Like obviously they that one trip is worth more than the Panthers whole season, but the Panthers never leave the country. The Steelers
Yeah.
also go to Paris themselves and still with that international trip have
Yeah.
less than the 49ers and the
Wow.
Rams for week 1. Yeah.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And something to that people, if you, it's something to start looking at. Like
Oh,
now
when
that
we, we
I've been
we
able to
start talking
see
fantasy and stuff too, this is all gonna like I
100%,
I
it
think that
goes
that gives
into
the
it.
players a bump. Like we talked about Mike Evans with the
Yes.
49ers. I don't like it at all. We talk about the
Yeah.
Panthers guys now. Do you like Tet gets a bump? Do I think
Yeah.
Hubbard gets a bump? Yep. Like,
Some of the, and we've seen it from past years of players that go to play in these overseas games. Sometimes you
oh,
really
100%.
like it's like a sometimes they have fluke games, sometimes they have great
Yep.
games, sometimes they have horrible
But
games.
you
Like
you just start to see those outliers.
you
So like it
start to
really
see the
matters when we
outliers.
start getting into it, which is why I wanted to mention
Yes.
it. And the last fun fact of this list that I like is that Carolina travels over 1,000 air miles just 4 times all season to get to their games. That's nuts to me.
Wow. Okay, so
Crazy.
the Panthers are going to be pretty well rested, is what
Yes.
you got on me.
If Bryce Young doesn't get it done this
Unless
year,
they like to win and they
yeah.
celebrate those wins.
Those guys should be rocking
They
and
should be,
rolling.
yeah. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so crazy that it's that far away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. I mean, yeah, I've never flown to Australia, obviously. Looking over at Sam, I can't imagine doing that travel, playing a football game, coming back home and need to play next week. I mean,
Yeah,
that's absolutely just asinine to me.
yeah.
And I know they're giving them the extra day, which is the segue that I want to finish the high level before we get into the brass tacks of the schedule, which is I'm over this international shit, man. Like I'm so mentally exhausted with teams going overseas, how many international games that there truly are now. And more than not, I'm done with games being on days that aren't Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. I know that like Thursday was a new development. I mean, it's been there for a while now,
Mhm.
but it wasn't always the case. I I don't like the NFL monopolizing the entire week. I think it takes away from the impact of Sunday, and I actually think it's going to have a long-term negative implication on football ratings. I think it gets watered down when you start putting it on. Like literally, I think Tuesday is the only day this year that doesn't have a game at any point in the season. There's games on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. When you start doing that over the course of a season, Sunday starts meaning less. And think about like Sundays when you sit
Oh,
7 hours of commercial-free football. It's like the NFL owns it. When you start
yes.
pulling away and taking away from that, I think you're going to start getting the same
Less
thing people
care.
complain about with the NBA, with the MLB. Is like, well, it's always on, whatever. Like you
Yeah.
lose that like
Yep.
that
100%.
dedicated day of sport.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm not a fan of this. Like the way that now there's a day before Thanksgiving game. I think it's the Packers. I want to say this year is the day before Thanksgiving, which is
Wednesday.
a
Yeah. They play
Wednesday.
on Wednesday.
The NFL season opens with the Melbourne game, and it's like, wait. So now we're not even opening in our. I think it's
Yeah.
crazy to me. Crazy to
So
me.
here's where I'm at with that. I totally agree with you of going overseas. I don't like the games in Europe. I don't like the games anywhere overseas. Now, I think it's different when it comes to playing in like Mexico City or even trying to get into Canada. I think that in the future, now this might be long time from now, there will be a Mexico City team, and I think that there will either be something for Toronto or something up there where football is growing in those two countries to get to a point of where there will be an expansion NFL team in those countries. That I fully agree with. You could go to those countries. Going overseas, playing in completely different sides of the world, I just don't understand it. It
Paris, Madrid,
completely
Germany.
ruins
Yeah.
like ruins the what you just said of like being on different days. You're in Arizona. What time is those games starting?
Oh, I can't even imagine. I mean, I literally wasn't able to watch games last year because it started like 3, 4 a.m. sometimes here on
Yeah.
like Pacific Standard Time. So the whole West Coast, you're not even waking up to care about watching that game.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
nuts.
And then to touch on your Sunday
Yeah.
days. I mean, personal story here. I literally my schedule is Sunday. I am going over to either my grandparents' house or my parents' house, and I am watching football.
All day.
Like my wife knows it. Hey, what's your plan on Sunday? Football.
Yeah, my
I'm
wife literally
watching
knows
football.
that like Sunday during the NFL season means that like we don't do anything. We either going to
Yes.
a game
Yes.
or we're watching football all day. And it's been that way. I mean, like my since I was a kid.
Yep.
When you start taking that away, and
Oh
even
yeah.
like and you even you but like and maybe it's just me. We felt it the last couple of years with oh, it's the afternoon, and now there's only two games in the afternoon because they had a two Thursday nights or there's two Monday nights this week, and now the afternoon slot on a Sunday is only two afternoon games. And you're like,
Yeah.
this isn't that fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't hit the same when you can't watch 3, 4 games at one time. You're like, this is boring now. It's
Yeah.
already starting to get watered down, and I only see it getting worse.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with you with all of that. There was one point and it just slipped my mind that I wanted to touch on. Um, oh man, what did you? I was like,
We're talking about schedule, Sundays, your
shoot.
parents, your grandparents, your wife, your um international games,
No,
two
no.
games
Well,
on
it'll come
Monday.
back to me, and when it comes back to me, I'm gonna
Just blurt
just
it out.
let it blurt it out, and we have to stop. So let's keep trucking along, and we'll come back to it.
Heck yeah. Well, that's all like I've got on the high level of schedule this year. And just to recap, so my three things, I believe in the conspiracy of the ratings for the easiest and
Yeah.
hardest schedules in the NFL. I am very much appalled by distance traveled and the disparity between that. And I think that is something that we should take a close look at when we start getting into fantasy rankings and how to judge
Yeah.
guys and who to bet on for the season. We start getting
For
into
sure.
betting. I think that's a
Yeah.
massive focus point that far too many people overlook. And then last but
Hmm.
not least is I'm over the NFL trying to monopolize the entire week's worth
Yeah.
of games. Just give me the meat and potatoes of Sunday, Monday, and Thursday
Yeah.
and just bask in it.
Okay. So I remembered. So
Heck yes.
from the schedule and what we're talking about, monopolizing, being on different days, being in different countries, give me a little bit of your thoughts of being on different channels. Being on
Oh
where
boy.
you can only watch it on Netflix, can only watch this on Peacock, can only watch this on Prime. What are your thoughts?
Trash. I think it's horrible. I think you're seeing it right now. I think the NFL should be watching the NBA and seeing how much of an uproar that there is and taking note instead of trying to follow suit. It's absolutely like nuts when you get a game 7. I think it was just the Cavs and the Pistons to go to the NBA quickly and have a game 7 only be on Prime. Like, what does that mean for now? I know the NFL is collecting that check from Amazon,
Yeah.
but from a sport growth perspective, from a fan perspective, it's absolutely atrocious. And I mean, I think this is a bigger issue than just sports itself. But with these streaming services now, you you notice this in business all the time, right? You have something comes out to correct the problem. And what the problem was for the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s and the 2010s was cable got to be so expensive.
Hmm.
Cable TV, right?
Yeah.
It was just so expensive. So people started creating, you couldn't watch
Yeah.
things at your convenience. You had to follow it, but you're
Yeah.
still paying an arm and a leg. So streaming services were an absolutely fundamental, necessary shift to
Yeah.
get people off of cable because cable was trash. It was monopolized. It was a business model that had outgrown itself, but they didn't care because people had no
Hmm.
other choice. So streaming services needed to happen. However, whenever something corrects, and it's a tale as old as time, you then see it swing really heavy in the other direction. And then what happens is you need to meet in the middle somewhere. And
Yeah.
right now, we are currently living through the era of over streaming, where now you have so many different streaming services and so many different things are just in so many miscellaneous places that you would ask yourself, what would be nice? Wow, that would be great if it was all in one place, which cable, you're back to where you started.
Yep.
And obviously now when you look at cable providers, and now I mean I'm going off on a tangent about them. I'm going to bring up like Spectrum,
This is
like
a sports
Spectrum.
podcast here.
Yeah, I know, but hey, we're
I
talking
know. I'm
like how
just
to
kidding.
watch sports.
I know. I'm just kidding.
But like if you look at like Spectrum, one of the largest, obviously, cable
Yeah.
just service providers in the United States, they now with cable offer included,
Hmm.
they give you basically every streaming
Sunday
service except
ticket.
for Prime and Netflix. And but
Oh yeah. Yeah.
they give you Peacock, they give you Hulu, they give you
Yeah.
I mean literally everything besides Netflix and Prime basically. So that's where I see the middle ground going because yes, I think it's absolutely atrocious for professional sports to basically blind a great portion of their audience from watching any
Hmm.
marquee or any game, but much less a
Yeah.
marquee game. And worse, I think it's even crazier to assume that, well, the fans just going to go buy all 6 of these platforms to watch every game
Yeah.
because,
It's
like,
not going to
I'm
happen.
going to do it, but at scale, that's going to run out in time.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Yeah. So here's a little point that I want to make about this is if people just started, and which I think it's going to start to happen, and you said it's like the middle ground, right? Well, take a piece out of maybe Mr. Jesse Cole, right? Banana ball. We've gotten to a pretty good level here where there's a lot of eyes on the games here. But something that he sticks to is every single game will be free on YouTube no matter what. It doesn't matter where the game is going to be played, if it's on Disney Plus, if it's on ESPN. Now, ESPN is owned by Disney, all that. But if it's on True
Yeah.
TV, if it's on wherever we're also being played, it is always said these games will, no matter what, be live on YouTube for every single person to be
Wow.
able to watch, which is pretty cool. And I think if
I love that. I did not know
I'm
that.
not saying that all these other professional sports has to do that, but it you get so many more people watching. And at the end of the day, if you have more people watching, you have more fans. If you're trying to grow the game, it's about the fans. It's not about the money will come with those fans.
Yeah.
That's what I just don't understand is like, I feel like they're trying to go for a quick buck because it's a lot of money when you could have
Yeah.
just fans down the road. I don't know. But
No,
that's where I want
I
to kind
actually
of go
agree
with
with
that a
that.
little bit.
I think what we see now in business, and once again, this is the last like business take that I'll have, at least on this topic. You never know. I can always navigate, but you see it a lot on Wall Street right now too. And I think the that sports have now been what is it commoditized? I struggle on the word sometimes, but they've been commoditized to the level of basically being run like a Wall Street company.
Mhm.
And when you look at companies that over time are the biggest companies in the world, the Amazons, the Googles, even the Metas, like these are publicly traded companies, right? But they have founders and leaders who don't care about the stock price. You have the
Mhm.
Elons, like they're the biggest companies in the world because they just operate to run the biggest companies. I used to look at uh, professional sports that way, where, hey, if the ratings, or whatever, like we're just going to make the fan experience absolutely amazing and we'll let the chips fall where they may. We don't have to squeegee out every single penny from fans or from the market, from TV, so on and so forth. I believe that all professional sports in the last 10 years have made that jump to being a quarter to quarter to quarter to
Oh,
quarter
100%.
Wall Street company to where it doesn't matter at all about the fan, about the experience.
Hmm.
It's about just
Oh yeah.
rinsing every penny out of the end user. And that works for a finite amount of time. You've seen it, it's as old as Wall Street, it's as old as time.
Hmm.
When you start running like that, naturally you start over time. It's never quick, but
Yeah,
you start losing your customer base. And I think it'll be I
100%.
think we're in the midst of seeing some of the ramifications of that. You're seeing it in the NBA a little bit more on ratings, like how down that's been throughout the years.
Hmm.
And I see the NFL on a similar path, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. All right, let's get on to kind of talking a little bit week by week.
Yeah, let's
Some
definitely
big
do that.
games, some big games that we are excited to see, and some ones that maybe we're not too excited to see.
Yeah, I love that. Let's really kick off a week one regular season
Yep.
NFL schedule. I mean, because that's going to be the NFL week one is quite literally, even though everything I just said is Christmas Eve. It's better than Christmas Eve. Even as a kid, I
It's
felt that way. It's literally better than Christmas Eve. I think it's
yeah.
absolutely insane. I can't sleep on that first Saturday night. I'm like just ready for the Sunday. I'm ready for
Come
the Sunday
on.
to pop up. It's the
I can't-
greatest. Literally, it's better. It's better.
and
Roger
you know
Goodell
what?
is Santa, and I'm ready for week one. Like,
By week one, I've probably had four fantasy football trades by now,
oh,
and I
if I
am
could bet the
ready for
over
my
under, I bet the over. If 3.5 is your or 4.5
yeah.
is your line, I'm betting the over on you have
I'm
over
telling
four
you
and a
what,
half trades
I'm
by the
just trying to,
time
I'm
week
always
one
trying
rolls
to
around.
like, I'm trying to fix up that locker room, trying to get the guys meshed together. Because you never know who's going to work well together in fantasy. You just never
Yeah.
know.
You never know. You got to put together that perfect combination. But I mean, we open the season September 9th, Sam's birthday. It's
Yep.
actually kind of baller. Um, with a repeat of the Super Bowl, we got the Patriots against the Seahawks.
Yep.
I'm really excited for that. I think the Patriots come out and win by 30 though.
Yeah. I was just going to say, it's in Seattle. I agree. It's going to be like that. It's going to be the game that everybody wants to see.
Yep.
Exactly what you just said. It's a rematch of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be huge. You got some new pieces over here. You got some new pieces over there.
Yep.
I just don't think it's going to be a good
They
game.
literally
And I
just
think the
lost Kenneth
Patriots
Walker.
are,
They lost their
yeah,
Super Bowl MVP who ran that, literally no pun intended, ran that game. I think the Patriots come out and make a statement game
yes,
week
I
one.
agree. I totally agree. And I think the Patriots handle the Seahawks in week one pretty easily. Um, Another game that I obviously, as a Packer fan, excited about when you're playing an in division rival, Green Bay at the Vikings is fun. Week one, you never know what's going to happen with how the Packers this
Yep.
last year just whooped up on the Lions.
Yeah.
It's going to be it's always great to be a Packer fan week one.
I'm gonna have Vikings week one, by the way. I think Kyler Murray comes out and makes a statement week one.
Yeah, I remember you talking about Kyler. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My is that your most anticipated game, week one?
No, I mean I'm just looking at it just as a Packer fan, but I'm gonna look here.
I'll give you my
Let's
most
see.
anticipated
Yeah,
game.
let's hear it. Let's hear
Mine's
it.
going to be the Buccaneers and the Bengals for fantasy purposes. I think you're going to have an absolute week one shootout between two studs in Baker Mayfield and Joe Burrow. I think you're going to see a 40-30 game, and that's the game I'm going to be locked in on week one for sure. And I don't even have anybody on either of those. Well, I've Chase Brown, but I think that's going to be just an airmail game, and I that is my most anticipated week one game for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would have to go just with the star power in the game. Is going to be that night game, the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. I think having some guys back for the Giants, having some of their new pieces out there, you got two big market teams, and it's always fun to have CD and Pickens out there, getting Dak out there. Just you're just going to have so many big players in that game. I think it's going to be a really fun night for Sunday football.
I think that's the worst Sunday night football game they could have picked. I would
Oh,
have rather watched the
oh,
Dolphins and Raiders week one on Sunday
yeah.
night than the
What?
Cowboys and Giants. Such a cliche America Sunday night
Cliche,
football
but it's
game.
going to be so fun. I could just imagine now. I'm going to have a pizza. I'm going to be sitting on my couch and I'm going to be watching the Dallas Cowboys take on those New York Giants. And I'm going to be seeing Jackson Dart. We'll get into our fantasy rosters, but I am
Yeah,
going to get
yeah,
see Jackson Dart and CeeDee Lamb absolutely just whoop up on each other.
yeah.
And I'm just, oh yeah, I can't wait.
I love it. Oh man, no, I literally couldn't agree more. But I do like the Monday night game though. You got the Broncos and Chiefs are always a fun game. If I'm assuming Mahomes is going to be back, I'm expecting a fully healthy Mahomes. The Broncos have been exciting. We talked about them getting Jalen Waddle. I think week one. Um, yeah, I'm really excited about that Monday night game.
Yeah, cool. So that's week one. I don't think we really need to go on to every week by week.
No, let's
But
talk our best like marquee matchups. I think just some things that pop up. I've just got a nice little Monday night football schedule here in front of me. The ones that I'm most excited for this year, and I'll just kind of go through my like quick hitters. I just mentioned week one. I'm definitely excited about week three. I think Philly against Chicago is going to be a good Monday night one. Just two high powered offenses. Week four could potentially be the worst Monday night football game in the history of the NFL, which is Atlanta, which could very well be Tua against Tyler Shuck, which I have not minced words on either of those guys. So I don't know how that becomes a Monday night football game, honestly.
those are always good games. Falcons and the Saints always want to fight up against each other. I'm not saying it's going to be a great like Monday night football game,
Monday
but
night
I was
football game though,
I was literally when you're
crazy.
going talking about your games here, I was literally like, man, when do the Falcons play the Saints? And
Oh
then you
my, that is
see
unbelievable.
those
Unbelievable.
those games are fun, man.
I'm not saying that those like division games like don't like that. I'm not saying that they can't be entertaining, but that's crazy for a Monday night. Same thing with like week 12. I see Carolina against Tampa. Like I'm not saying it can't be a good game, but that is an atrocious Monday night football game. Um, Yeah, I'm actually hugely against this year's Monday Night Football. I think that most of the games are actually really really bad. That'll be actually my hot take that we can close out the individual schedule talk on is that I think this is the worst year for Monday Night Football matchups in the history of the NFL. If you just go week to week, I think there's just so little entertainment or polarity like between the teams that make them like entertaining. I just don't like it. Even week two, like the Rams and Giants, I said I like week three. I hate week four, which is the Saints and whatever. Week five will be good. Bills and Rams, you get two high powered offenses. But yeah, man, there is just some absolute trash in here. You get
I think you're just an absolute hater. And I think that there's some good matchups, and you never know where some of these teams are going to be. I mean, look at this one. Week 8, you got the Chicago Bears against the Seattle Seahawks. That's going to be a great Monday Night Football game.
You know what's hilarious? You know what's absolutely hilarious? The worst
Let's hear
NFL
it.
game that I've ever been to 2 years ago was a Thursday night marquee game, Seahawks against the Bears, 6-3. It went until the
Well,
fourth quarter before a team crossed the 20-yard line, and I was sitting there, phone in hand, trying to like try live bet. Should I do like I was trying to get into the game. Drove down to Chicago, literally Christmas like week, little rainy game. Absolute dog shit. Worst game in NFL history that I've ever watched in person. Worse than the Jets Browns last year, which was a torrential downpour. 6-3. Terrible football. I have no excitement about Chicago and Seattle on Monday night. I love that you picked that game out though, because I happen to have an exact story on that. But yeah, man, I think it's a horrible Pittsburgh against Jacksonville on a Monday night, week 14. Absolute trash. Week 15 is great. Patriots, Chiefs, I love it. Um, Shocked by how many marquee games the Giants have this year. I really will talk about Jackson Dart. I love Jackson Dart. I traded you Jackson Dart, unfortunately, but I am still surprised as much as I like him and as much as I love Scattaboo, how many marquee games in prime time they're giving the Giants this year. Because if that
But that's
experiment doesn't work, and he's also going to miss games with injuries, that's a risky team to put in that many spots that late in the season.
But that's what I'm saying with right now, looking at that team, they have so many guys that you have to love right now. Malik Neighbors is coming back. You
Yeah.
have Isaiah Likely now. You have Jackson Dart, which is so exciting. You have Scadaboo, which people just love Cam Scadaboo and
Oh,
his
he's the
those two
best.
together. Like you're going to get a lot of people that aren't football fans watching them because of how much they are on social media, how much they are in other
Yeah.
places. Like that's a you talk about putting things in places that to get ratings for the NFL. Like that's a team that's a big market. You're gonna put those games no
Yep.
matter who's playing, if quarterback, who's injured, whatever. Like they're gonna have
Interesting.
their games.
Interesting.
That's just my thing. They're gonna have
No,
their games.
no, I definitely can get behind that. I love it.
Um, yeah,
That's all
I
I got
mean,
on the schedule.
let me see here. There's so who's some teams that go? I just want to talk a little bit of the teams that go overseas. Do you know all the teams? How many games overseas do we have?
Oh yeah, there's a ton here. I'll pull up the list right now. I know a few off the top, but international NFL games. So this year there are 9 international football games. Week 1, you've got the 49ers against the Rams, as we talked about. That's the Melbourne,
Yeah,
Australia game. Week
right.
3, you've got the Ravens playing the Cowboys in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Week 4, you've got the Colts and Commanders. I feel like they always send the Commanders over there, and the
Yeah,
Colts actually for that matter. They're in London. Crazy that they have 2 games in a row, 2 weeks in a row, 3 weeks in a row in London. Week 4, 5, and 6. We just said week 4 is the Colts and Commanders. Week 5, you've got the Eagles and Jags. And then week 6, you've got the Texans against the Jags. So the
yeah.
Jags are
Jags are
literally in
yeah,
London 2 weeks in a row. Man, if you're a
yeah.
Jags fan, that sucks because both those games are considered home games for them.
Right.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
really unfortunate. Damn.
yeah. That's pretty crazy. I know that you said they're home games both for the Jags.
Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like both of those. Week 5 and 6 are
And
both considered Jags
five and
home games.
six, okay, because that's crazy. I would have, they're getting a new stadium, but they're playing home games this year. They're not playing home games next year. So like next year, I could have seen that being like, oh, let's just
Yeah,
overseas have some home games. But
pretty crazy.
yeah, so that hey,
Weeks. All right.
take
But
take.
less
Let's
travel
look at
though.
that though. Less travel for the Jags, and they're gonna have been sleeping there. Their bodies are gonna be
Yep.
adjusted. Let's
Good
that
matchup for the Jags guy.
Jags Eagles game is that one before
That's the
Jags
first one.
Texans?
The second one is the
Ah,
Jags Texans, but the Texans D is always mean.
yes, is
But
always
man,
oh, yeah.
that's an
So that's
interesting
someone to
one
look
though.
at. That is one to look
Yeah.
at. I'm interested to see what lines look like on that game.
Yeah. I like
Very
that.
nice.
Week
Cool.
7, you've got the Steelers game we talked about earlier against the Saints
Yeah.
in Paris. Week 9, you've got the Bengals and Falcons in Madrid. Last year was the Dolphins and Commanders out there. Week 10, you've got the Patriots and Lions. I hate that this game is overseas.
Yeah.
If you're going to throw games overseas, I like it when it's at least like not a marquee game. I like the Patriots against the Lions more than 95% of the Monday Night Football games that we have this year. So really bummed that that's the game that Germany gets. And then last but not least, another international game, albeit closer for the 49ers, but the Vikings against the 49ers in Mexico City,
Mexico
Mexico.
City. Yeah. Man,
Nine games this year.
That's a lot of games.
9.
That is a lot of games and only one in Mexico City.
Yeah.
Man, that's
Crazy.
I don't
Crazy,
like
crazy.
it. I don't
No.
like it. I don't like it, man. All right. So that's what we got on the schedule. Overall, I
Let's
mean,
talk soon.
oh, hey, but overall, I can't wait for football season.
No, I mean nothing. Look at
I can't wait for
we can
football
sit here,
season.
we can talk shit. I can say how
Yeah.
the NFL is monopolizing the whole calendar, and I
Yes.
don't
Yes.
like it. I don't like the
Yes.
trends that it's going on. And I'm gonna sit my
100%.
ass down and watch every single
Every
game.
single game.
And right now, I would literally take a Jets Browns game.
Yes.
I would literally be glued to the TV for a Jets Browns game right now. So
Yes. And I'm
It's all
gonna
good.
try and find a way to watch every game on every single platform.
Yes, of course I am. I'm
Yes.
going to spend
So
the money. I talk
see,
shit, but I'm going to do it. I'm the problem. I am the
we are the
problem.
problem. We are the problem.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we get into a little bit of our group chat coming to life.
I love that.
This was a big week for our group chat. A lot of messages going back and forth, a
Because I
lot of
just opened the league.
uproar.
Open the
That's
league,
the thing.
which is where
So
we started off. When do you open up a dynasty league?
exactly. So I want to hear in the comments, I want people to let us know, when are you opening up a dynasty football league? Now, little backstory here. This is our 11th season, our 11th season playing together. Um,
This is
you know,
our 12th.
we
Is it 11th or 12th? I think it's our 12th.
12th. Oh man,
This is our
it's our
12th.
12th season
2014.
playing
Yeah.
together. Okay, 12th season playing together. We have been on our commissioner about opening the league for a while now. And if you guys haven't figured it out yet, our commissioner is yours truly, Sutton Sabonesh here. And there was a lot of text messages going back and forth for the commissioner to open up the league because, hey, people want to make their trades. The NFL draft has happened.
You and Sam want to make your trades.
Whoa, whoa,
Everyone
whoa,
else
whoa,
is chilling,
whoa.
living their
No, no,
lives,
so
enjoying their life.
false. So false. Maybe because people aren't trying to trade with you doesn't mean that people aren't wanting to trade. Okay. So from there, I just want to know, when is a good time to open up a dynasty football league? Should it completely stay open the whole time? Does it close? Do you need a little break? Let us know what you guys think.
My opinion is that a dynasty league needs a break. You need a window where after a long season, you chill out, you decompress, and I think you open it up around when camp starts. That's when the real excitement starts. You see how guys are starting to play. I'm getting Sam's doing this once again, my brother, a member of the league. Um, I think then you have time for the free agency to play out, the draft plays out. I think you would see too many moves of like say like right now, somebody might trade for Dobbs. We have a bunch of unexperienced jokers in our league too, where like maybe they think that Romeo Dobbs is going to be the one and don't hear the rumors of AJ Brown going to New England. So Brady or my brother pull a fast one over on him to get, to get somebody out of them. I think you got to wait until everyone's invested. And if we had a league of me, you, my brother, my dad, streak, maybe that five, like five of us times two, I'd say maybe we open it up around free agency, maybe around the draft. However, with the jokers we have in the league, I mean,
I
dude,
can't I can't believe the trash talk of the rest of
look,
the league.
look. I mean, I'm gonna hit because Sam just told me this, and it's a crazy line, and it just look. We have a guy in our league who doesn't even know that my mom died like 5 months ago. Like Swags didn't even know that my mom passed away 5 months
What?
ago. Yeah. Do you think that he knows where Romeo Dobbs went in free agency? He doesn't even know, like, he doesn't tap into social media. He doesn't even like know what's going on with us. Now debate me that the league should be open and he should be making trades right now. As commissioner, I have to literally think of everybody and take a step back and look at the full picture and say, we have a league of jokers and we have to be responsible of when the league opens up. Debate that.
That is one of the wildest. Um, yeah, I mean, so you guys let us know in the comments of what you guys think. um, all right, so I don't really know where to go from there. Incredible out of you, Sutton.
Like it's rough.
I mean,
Well, now you know what it's like to be commissioner and all the things you got to think of. I deal with imbeciles for already 9 months out of the year. Give me my 3 to 4 months off where I can relax and not have to deal with this bullshit. That's what it takes. And that's why you open up a league around June, July is when you should open up a dynasty league.
I will agree with you to disagree with you, or disagree with you to agree with you.
Uh,
I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but I disagree with you.
Took the
in
wind
a,
out of Brady's sails.
in a few different ways.
Hit me with them. Give your side of the give your side of the argument.
I think that here it is. Here's my argument. If you are not locked in and you get taken advantage of, hey, you should have been locked in. We've been doing this for 12 years. 12 years. If you're in a league for 12 years, here's another thing. We don't even pay
No
for the league.
predatory that sounds.
What?
How predatory that sounds. If you're not paying attention, I'm going to pull an over on you. We got to
Oh,
give
come on.
context. We're in
Come
a
on.
you're about to say. I'm going to
Look,
interrupt you because you're about to say we don't even pay to play. We don't even.
yeah, we
That's
don't
why
even
we have to treat it differently because people like it's a fun bros league. It's
that's
a
why
bunch of boys that
we
stick
had
together through the league.
okay, here we go. So we had how many people in the group text saying Sutton open the league, open the league, open the league. It was more than 5 people.
You know why? Because y'all just start that stupid ass narrative, and then people are like, "Oh, let's just talk shit." If you
No,
guys didn't
no,
text that
no.
group, if you, Sam,
Mhm.
and my dad would
Parker,
not text the group chat,
Parker.
Parker never texts first. If you, Sam, or Steve would not text that group chat, we would have to remind people that week one is starting. That's you guys run the narrative in that damn thing, and then I have to answer for it.
We're trying to keep people on their toes.
No, you're trying to pull one over on people that don't know what's going on yet.
Wrong, wrong. I just wrong,
Oh, you
wrong.
just said it. You
Oh,
just said it.
no, hey,
We're
no,
gonna clip it.
I didn't say I'm trying to. I said, hey, if that's what happens, that's what happens. That's
Well, I
on
wonder
them.
who you're hitting up for trades. You haven't hit me up for a trade. I don't know if you hit Sam up for a trade. I think
Nope.
you're hitting up the jokers that haven't even tapped in yet.
Nope. I'm hitting up someone that has tapped in yet.
Oh, tap.
I
Sam said
mean,
you haven't
if
hit him up.
exactly because Sam is the worst person to trade with.
Well, so, yeah, because Sam's only going to trade. Yeah, I mean, Sam is the worst person to
Like
trade with. Talk over in the group
he,
chat to life. That
the
man
only
has
person that
literally taken advantage.
the only person your brother Sam wants to trade with is his dad because he can talk to him back and forth and he can really just convince him to trade with him. And
He's only
that's
got
why
a.
his team there goes a cat. And
Yep.
that's why his team is the team that he has.
Yep.
It's
But
not
he
from
also does it with
skill.
everybody. He actually
Yeah,
does it with
I
everybody. He's
totally
got the
agree.
bat phone. He's basically got a minor league system. He's got the
Yeah.
guys he knows that he can call and just toof, toof, toof. Oh shit, he has a guy that's hurt. Oh, he can jump up a few spots in the draft. He
Yep.
pulls out his bat phone. He's got a few guys that he knows don't pay attention, and so shit you
Totally
got to deal
agree.
with. Shit you got to deal with.
Totally agree. So yeah, that's kind of bringing our group chat to life.
Yeah,
That is where we're at. We have
but that is a
finally
great
opened up the
question.
league
So
though,
when do
which
you
is
think
so
it should
fun.
be open then? Is it post draft? Is it post free agency? Like what is yours? Does it stay open all year? You never gave a definitive answer. I think I would say June 30th is my opening date of I would like or July 1st. Kick off July. It's now football season. What would be your opening date if you were commissioner?
For
What is the date that
for
it
me,
opens?
for me, I'm saying, hey, when do we want to open up the league? And if everybody says, hey, I'm ready. Hey, this year more people are going to be locked in. I'm going to open up the league right now. If people aren't locked in, hey, we're not going to open the league yet. The two people that wanted to open, they're just going to have to suffer through it. I think it comes down to when you've been doing it this long, if people want to have it open and make things happen, why not make things happen? It's a league that we've done together. We're all friends. We've all, we've been with each other for a long time. Let's make something happen,
Got
So
it.
that's my take on it is like, hey, if you guys agree on it, make it happen. If you guys don't agree on it, then hey, it stays closed until we get closer to the date you're talking.
Got it. Well, I'm definitely a dictator, commissioner, so I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want.
I know. I was gonna send that in the message when you said, "Oh, well, that's a new rule." I was gonna say, "Okay, so we're just not voting on new rules now." I love that. Okay.
Sometimes you got to put your foot down. That leads me to my next Dynasty League question, which is should you be able to trade guys if you have a maxed out roster and you finish the season with guys on the IR? So you have technically an ineligible roster. We have a 20-man league, but two IR spots. So at the end of a season, say I have a Jaden Daniels, I have Tyreek Hill, the end of the season on the IR. I technically have 22 guys right now. Should I be able to trade in the off season before the league officially opens up before the draft with 22 men instead of 20? What are your thoughts?
My thought is if those guys are on IR, those guys are not eligible to be traded. Where, hey, you finish the league with these 20 guys, those guys were IR. You can't move them. You can't do anything with them. But hey, I have 20 guys that I finished the year with. I can move, I can make moves with these 20 guys. Now, if I get rid of, it's like, it's not my fault that those guys got hurt. It's not a different team's fault that they didn't get hurt. But I have those 20 guys. I finished the year with these 20 guys. Now, those two guys are there, but these are who I finished with. We have 22 spots for a reason. If you wanted it to be 20, include those IR guys in, make it 18. But if there's
But no,
22 people,
but then the same thing would be the problem with 18 to 20.
but that's just what I'm saying is if it's 22 and there can be two out there on the IR, those guys cannot be moved. That 20 that are there that were eligible at the final end of the year, those guys should be free to be moved. Now, when it comes to that draft and you need to be down to that 20 without those guys on IR, hey, now you need to make that decision. If you have to get those guys gone, you have to cut guys, whatever you have to do, that's what you have to do. But until that point, I think that is your roster and you can make trades in any way that you want to. That's my personal take.
I fundamentally disagree because those guys, once again, when you talk about the league shutting off, having an off season and then turning back on, you should be back to your 20 guys. It's a new season. Those guys are no longer on the IR. You can't just get a holdover because on week 18, you happen to have a few guys that were hurt. And technically, that could also be taken advantage of like week 16, 17. You can almost start planning for that and just pick up guys that are hurt and just knowing that you can have two extra guys throughout the offseason to see what happens because they're not technically on your roster. I think rosters have to be down to 20 before you make any offseason moves because it's having extra trade bait. And you can say, well, you can't move the guys on your IR, but you know that they're there. So you're basically trading depth that you shouldn't have.
And and so now with that, that's where I say that the league shouldn't close. That was where I was at with that.
But at some point, then you should have to be back down to 20 people because
Which for me would be when the draft happens. When we get that draft, that's
it
what
would
it's been.
still need
Is
to
like,
be
hey,
after the season because officially after week 17 and the season's closed, no guy is out for week 1 yet. So you would be trading with a questionable player on your roster. Even guys like Tyreek Hill, Tyler Kraft, all of those guys that had like bad injuries even late in the season last year, they are questionable, which during the season you couldn't trade with a questionable player on your IR. It wouldn't let you. It's ineligible. So in the off season, it would have to follow the exact same suit because they're all now questionable for next season. None of them are out for next season.
well, I think that from our now we have a league. We make our own rules. I think that is where one of these rules is like, hey,
So you want an exemption.
I don't want an exemption. Personally, I think that if this is a league
I'm
rule,
saying you want an
anybody can
exemption
do it.
from the logic of what I just said.
Personally,
No. I'm saying like you want our league to run differently than even though ESPN says the player is now questionable and you have an ineligible roster. You think that we should make an exception and still be able to trade, even though during the season you can't trade with somebody who's questionable in your IR.
here's where I have that bringing the group chat to life is you agreed with me in that is if like Tyreek Hill, he is not going to be ready week 1.
If that would be the only common ground is I would say if you know that a player is going to be out on week 1 with all certainty,
Yeah, that's like last year. Tank Dell.
then it's
Tank Dell.
carrying. Yes, Tank Dell would have been a perfect example. Yep.
That's 100% what I'm saying.
Yep. Jonathan Brooks.
100% what I'm saying. I
Yep.
don't think that like going back, Tucker Kraft there is talks of him being able to play, but then most of the talks that I've seen is that
But if there's
he's going
even
to
a
start out
shot,
Cup 1. There you go.
even if there's a
It's growing.
shot, then you
Yeah,
would have to
I
say
totally
that.
agree.
But if a
Totally
guy's
agree.
literally like tore his
Broken
Achilles
leg.
week
Yeah, like
18, you know he's not coming back yet, you know?
yes, totally agree. And that's kind of what we went back and forth with, and I feel like
And
that's
that
what we
we would
said.
have agreed on. We would have
Yes,
agreed on
100%.
that. Yes. The only thing is
Yeah.
then you'd have to have a consensus on is said player certainly going to be out week 1. That's the only gray area that I would argue for.
There you go.
I like
I
it.
agree. I agree. But yeah, I think that comes along with having a group that has played. A lot of people play a long time in fantasy football together. It's like talk about these things. It's
Yeah.
like if you
Can we
want
take
something,
a
yeah, what's up?
Yeah, I want to take a step back. Like we obviously, I've talked about our league, but we can kind of I want to take one step back and say, what are your thoughts on dynasty leagues as a whole? Like we really haven't, we've talked about so
Yeah.
basically the background is we've made mentions of it. I started the dynasty league 12 years ago now. When we were graduating high school. Way to keep the boys together. I've always loved the idea. I'm a big franchise mode player in Madden growing up. I like the idea of like being able to build a dynasty, carry it year to year. I feel like it carries more weight. I just feel like it keeps people more involved. You build your team. You really get to like love players. You don't have to like chase a new group of guys every year. You get to watch like a guy like Mike Evans. We talked about guys like Travis Kelce that I've had for basically their entire careers. Um, I had all that in mind. It was like this would be a really cool thing to do. So
Yeah.
that was my kind of spin on starting a dynasty league and why I like it. But I'd love to grab your thoughts on just dynasty leagues as a whole. What your thoughts have been the last 10 plus years of
Yeah.
being in one. And yeah,
Yeah. So, I mean, I have done, obviously, I've been in the league for quite a while now. I was in there in the beginning. Obviously, we talked about, I couldn't figure out the stuff with logging in. So I was out for a little bit, but I've been back for a good amount of time now. I absolutely love it. I think if you are, I think it is for people that do want to stay locked in on fantasy football, that do really want to grow something. I think it's perfect. Now, if you're the person that is like, I don't. I want to start over. I don't really want to do the buy into like thinking about what's going to come next, thinking about the players down the road. How long do I need to keep this person? If you're not that bought in, a redraft is also great. I do a redraft every single year. It's a lot
still
of
fun.
fun to
You
do a
still you
redraft.
still have to do a draft every year
I
for sure.
still I do say though, when I do a redraft, I am for sure probably not a great thing to do, but I will make sure my guys that I have in my dynasty league, I
Yep.
probably value them a little bit more.
100%.
And
I
when
try
I'm
to have
going
this because
through
I'm
it,
not trying to root against myself. I'm trying to root for the same
yes,
guys. I
exactly.
agree.
And so that's a thing that I definitely do. I love the dynasty. I think it's great the group that we have. Um, Now, is there people that definitely could be more locked into it? 1000%. There is some guys that would love to get a response from in the 6 years that I've been in here, to maybe not get a single response at all.
Yeah.
You know,
Shout
it's
out to Brian Guy
kind
at
of
music.
crazy, but yeah, we're here, and I love the group. I mean, it's we see each other in Christmas. We get the football going together.
Yeah.
It's kept us close. Exactly what you want to do from making the dynasty league is exactly what it's been able to do, and I absolutely love it.
Love it. I love hearing that perspective. I think that's something throughout
Yeah,
the year we should get some of the boys on and get their perspective on that too. Because yeah, I think I obviously like really appreciate hearing that, and I agree. I think it's been cool seeing it play out. How I envisioned. Like literally, like
uh-huh.
I think it's even been better at keeping us together, keeping us all chatting, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I do think though that we have like as I said, like 50% of the league is well, we're all jokers, let's just be honest. But like really like I think half the league would probably be better suited as guys to do year to year as opposed to dynasty. But I think it's great for what it is. I think everyone in our league has a nice dynamic, and I think if you're thinking about to make it applicable, if you're thinking about setting up a dynasty league, I think even if you're going to do an 8-man league, a 10-man league, a 12-man league, whatever it is, if you have your boys, your girls, your friends, whatever it is, family, set it up, man. I'm telling you, it's a boatload of fun. It gives you another way to think about players, to think about strategizing, and at least give both a shot and see which one sticks. Because I couldn't envision not doing a dynasty league at this stage.
Yeah.
Um, which leads me to a question that I'm always as I think you're kind of we talked about in episode one. You're like the Bills or the Ravens of our fantasy league. You finish
Hmm.
high almost every year, but you just can't win. You're just always the bridesmaid. So I want to hear from you.
Okay.
What is it like in a fantasy in like a dynasty league? Where do you find the split for winning today and playing for tomorrow?
I love that, you think I'm like the Bills or the Ravens, where, you know, that have been that like a top team.
You're great.
I,
I can give you credit.
that's incredible to hear that that's what you're saying, because there's
Yeah.
been a lot of the years when I got my franchise back. It was actually a different owner. I came in, had different ownership. I'm
Yep.
in this franchise now. My team was horrible,
Horrible. You've done a tremendous job.
horrible.
I'll never take away from that.
So,
You've done a tremendous job of
but
making that team a
so
competitor.
here's the thing. I brought my team into a 500 team, first time that they've ever were above 500. Um, but then the year after that, I had picked 1-1. So it's like, I love that you said I'm the Bills, but I don't see it. I think I'm a maybe
I
a
think
step lower.
points wise, the last few years, you've been pretty sound.
Yes. And here's the thing with that. I think that I have, being manager of the year over the years, making moves that are just
Would go that far.
incredible, like incredible, to be able to build what I am getting to. And I think the league sees it. Like, that's why you want to completely change rules, is like, you see that there's other guys that doesn't have a Savanash last name that is going to be taking over the realm here and just like being a top
I wish
dog.
Sam could hear
So
this bullshit.
it's just it's incredible to like that I have that impact, and I've been able to have that impact like so quickly in the league. Yeah, that's where I
Yeah,
feel, and I'm just like,
if half a decade plus is a quick impact, that's awesome. I love how you can take a compliment and immediately still live on the defensive with it and not answer the question in
I
your
didn't answer the
response. That was
question.
a beautiful bullshit political. I don't even know what to call it. You
Okay, I'll
you
answer the
you you
question.
had you had a point you wanted to make, and it didn't matter what I actually asked. You wanted to just get that out, and I
I
really
wanted to get
respect that.
that. I did. Okay. So with that being said, I am always, I think at the beginning of the year, playing for the now. It's like, hey, where am I going to be right now? Where are my guys? I think I right now have a young enough team that I can continue to build around a few good pieces. But I'm not there yet. I look at some of the other moves that have been done. I mean, we talk about Sam. Sam has a team that is very, very good, on paper. On paper, yes, he won it last year. Um,
Smoked
the
it,
year
yeah,
before, s he doesn't have a deep team. He has a great
yeah,
playable team.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and I
Easily the
think I've
best.
been able to build the depth, and I want to get to that point of being have like, hey, I'm not going for the number 5 through 12 guy anymore. I'm going for the 1 through 5 guy, and I think I've needed to build pieces around that to now get to the point where I'm like, hey, this next year, I very well in that conversation of, I could win the thing. Next year, very well could win that thing. So I think in the beginning when I got back, I wasn't fully like, I knew my team was not going to compete with some of the guys that are in the league. So it's like, I'm going to try and make some moves. That's why I was trading all the time. Like, you guys all know
Always
it.
for
I'm trying
picks,
to
yeah,
trade.
yeah.
I'm trying to get those picks. I'm trying to get the team that I actually want. And I'm at that point where,
Yeah.
yes, I'm not talking to everybody about trading as much as I was.
But because
There's,
yeah.
I have some pieces now that I can get that one of one guy. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I know I still kind of maybe didn't answer the
No, it's all
question,
good.
but
No. I mean, you made it more specific, which I think is good. I'm gonna keep it more generalized and say that like I think if somebody's watching this far, or if we clip this out, one of the biggest pieces of advice that I have after doing over 10 years of a dynasty league is you have to play for now at some
mhm.
point. I think far too often people always want that next good guy. And I want that high draft pick and get the Jeremiah Love to go get the shiny new object when and this isn't pointing to you just because you have the first pick, but it's
Mhm.
like I think far too often people always look at like what's next, like oh I could have this guy for the next 5 years. Sometimes you got to trade for Derrick Henry, and like this is my all in year, and Babe Ruth call your shot and say this is
Yep.
my year, I'm gonna win this year, and if you strike out, fuck, you went for it. But if you're always playing for next year, you're never gonna hit it, and that's one of the biggest things I think with Dynasty, where it's like yeah, and Sam's doing this. Sam
Mhm.
did a great job of that.
Yeah,
He literally traded his picks and he went all in on Henry last year and he won. Sometimes when you have the team and you're one,
not
two
Henry,
tools of what
not Henry.
I forgot who it was for.
I have Derrick Henry.
I forgot.
It's all right.
Okay.
I mean, he has Bijan, he has Jamar Chase, he has
Yeah,
Justin
yeah, yeah.
Jefferson.
But,
Like,
but I'm saying,
his team is
but
incredible.
he's
Yeah,
like traded all picks. He
right.
went like
He
I'm
has
going
the
like
pinnacle guys. Like, he has
yes,
guys you want.
yeah. And but all I'm saying is in Dynasty, when you have to know when this is your year. Like when you've
Yes,
built around a team and you say,
totally.
I'm 1 to 2 pieces away, and maybe you trade away that first round pick for next year. You trade away a bit of that future to get that guy who can get you over the hump this year and say, I'm going all in. Because if you
Yep.
always play for next year, that for me is always a bridesmaid thing where at
Yeah.
some point, stop fucking trading, lock in on your team, and this is the squad that's going to get me there. Because
Yep.
sometimes you do too much tinkering and maneuvering, especially towards the younger players, and the less established things, and trying to hit the home run, and you're going to miss, you know. And once you
Oh
miss
yeah.
that, because I'm honestly seeing it like right now, like I'm not I was in the championship last year, but like I'm nearing the end of a window with a lot of my guys. I have a lot of young studs, and if I'm confident in my draft this year that like I get 1 to 2 component pieces and I'm right back there. But I have Stafford, I have Travis Kelce, I have Tyreek Hill, I have Mike Evans. I mean, these are guys that are obviously well past now
Yeah.
their prime window, but I got my shifts out of them, right? And I'm knowing that there's a good shot that I'm nearing some rebuild, right?
Yeah.
But I took my shot. I hit the home runs, and now it's time for that. And I
Yep.
feel better about that than if I would have been like, hey, let me trade, Mike Evans 3, 4 years ago, and let me trade Hill because
Yeah.
like I can maybe try to get this young stud and
Hmm.
whatever, and then
Yeah.
never been that home run team. So that would be probably
Totally.
honestly probably my number one piece of fantasy advice is just have that ability to know this is, hey, I could pull it off this year and make the move for the unsexy player because it's usually like a guy like say Henry and stuff. They're buried on teams where that guy's not going to win this year anyway, and they probably want the picks, and you can probably get
Hmm.
a better value veteran out
Yep.
of those guys. That's a perfect win-win scenario. So yeah,
Yeah. And I want to say it now. I mean, right now I have 3 draft picks. I fully believe that this is my year that I know I've said it in the past. I fully believe that this is my year. I will win our fantasy football league and take home that trophy.
call your shot.
I'm doing it. I'm
Call your
getting.
shot.
I'm going to tell it to you, and this better not leave until the guys watch this podcast. I'm getting rid of all 3 of those picks, and I will have a
I
blockbuster trade
actually
coming
want
up
to.
soon.
I just want to trade you for those picks. So let's talk
All right, let's talk.
because I'm in a rebuild phase and I could use some
Good,
of those picks. What
good.
sucks though is if it was any other draft class, I would give you a million times more because I hate this draft class, as we talked about in episode 1 of this pod.
And
But
that's
there are a few
let me tell you
guys, yeah.
this: it's already been used against me in trade talks. This podcast.
Episode 1 has been used negatively against you.
Yes.
Shit. Damn.
Yep. Oh, it's all
I'm
right.
not
It's
gonna
all
lie
right.
to you. There are 2 players that I'm really high on this year, but we haven't gotten to talk about players yet. And I'm gonna try to trade for them before we do a player specific pod.
I love it. I know. I'm trying to get rid
Just
of these
because
picks right now.
it's because one of those things, right? It's like when you go to, we'll talk about sports cards in future episodes. We keep saying that, but
Yeah.
like, we're going through the motions here. I can't stand it when you go to a sports card show, right? And you're like, hey, I think this year, I'll just make up give me like oh, okay, I'll talk baseball just for a hot second. I'm buying up every single Josuar Gonzalez card that I can possibly get. I'm not kidding you. Like I haven't opened up my mail in like weeks. I hope none of these are showing my address, but like I literally have like 20 cards here because I've been in town to open. Um, and they're all him. I and this literally actually happened like 2 weeks ago. I pinged the guy because he had in Bowman Chrome orange refractor of Josuar Gonzalez. And he literally was like, well, he's the next Francisco Lindor. Like to say the last comp is $2,000 on an orange. And he's like, but like Lindor's go for like 6. And I'm like, well, that's why I'm buying it today. Because I
Yeah.
think it can go there.
Yeah.
Why I'm not going to pay tomorrow's price today. I'll just wait until he
Yeah.
turns out and then buy it then. I think the same shit's going to happen. And I think you and I are going to be in trouble with the league watching this because I think we're going to get taxed. If I come out and I'm going to name a guy who it's not this guy, but if I would come out and I'll just say a guy who's on your team so it's easy for us. If I would say, I think Jackson Dart's the number one, the QB1 this year, I am now instantly overpaying in the
100%.
league because
It's already
somebody knows
happening.
exactly how I feel.
It's already happening.
Crazy. We
It's already
we, we
happening.
really got to be careful, man. We got to make moves before we
Yes.
start talking.
It's already happening. I have tried to
Shit.
get someone that I have mentioned and said he was going to be a top 3 running back
Oh
And
Christ.
and it's I'll just keep it at
Yeah.
that.
I know. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, we know exactly where that is and we know who
Parker.
exactly that is. Yeah. Crazy
So that's
shit.
funny. That's
Crazy
funny.
shit.
Yeah, man. So I anything else you want to add?
I mean, honestly, on the dynasty thing, I think the last, I'll say the last question
Hmm.
that I'll ask you pertaining to dynasty, and then we can pivot. Is if if there's one thing, I'll say, what's the best part of our league as a dynasty league, and what's the worst part of our league as a dynasty league? And maybe I can answer
Yeah.
to give like
The
context to what I'm asking, but
No, I fully hear what you're saying. I think easily the worst thing is some of the league not communicating. Trying to get to a if you are in a dynasty league, we do this every single year. If you do not know or do not want to make changes to your team and your team is horrible, what are we doing? If people are trying to make changes with you and there's no responses, what are we doing? You know, it's like even when you're trying to you reach out. It's like I'm not just going to continue to reach out to
yeah,
you. It's like even though I have for the last 6 years, but
Brian go get music.
it's like come on, right?
Yeah.
That's the one thing for me. I think there's a couple guys that just like don't like to answer. Maybe it's because of how much I do reach out to people. Very well could be it.
I think that's the whole point of it, though. And like, can you be overkill at times? For sure. But I think
Yeah,
it's better that I'd rather have that than the alternative that you're describing.
yeah. But for great things, good things, it's like you said it before. It's we have like the only people that I really talked to outside of high school was like Sam. So it's like you've been able to dynasty post high
Sure.
school, post having a group. We've been able to keep a group of guys together. We get together on Christmas or
Yeah.
around Christmas break to play football. We go out to eat. We do things. We have a group chat that it doesn't matter if it's about the dynasty. We're throwing stuff in that group chat to just have conversations, to shoot the shit.
Yeah.
It's fun to be able to talk sports or like share different big things that happen in
Even
our
just
lives. Like
life.
it's
Yeah.
been fun. It's been fun to be able to keep that. So I think that's really the best thing, even though that's really not about the actual league.
No,
The
I
group
love
of
that.
guys that we have together, I think, is pretty cool.
I love that. I'm going to, I'll answer differently just so we don't have the same thing. I would say the worst, I'll start with the best. I'll say the best thing about a dynasty league is that you don't get that end of year fall off
Yeah.
where once a team's done in a redraft and you're not in the playoffs or whatever, and you know you're not going to make it, you start to see some funky shit sometimes. You start to see
Let
guys
me let me cut you off here real quick. My phone is at 1% right now. So it
go
might
grab
just
this.
I'm plugged into my microphone.
So we're just gonna end the pod right here.
No, keep going. Keep going until it just
All right. All right.
like
So
stop.
the best part about the pod, the best part about a dynasty league is that you do not have the year end fall off.
Yeah.
You in a typical redraft, a team's out of it. They stop making moves. They stop picking guys up because the year is done. It doesn't matter. It's over with. You don't have that in a dynasty, which I think is amazing because guys are consistently trying to make moves because even if they're out of it now, it's going to benefit their team for next year. So that for me is the best football aspect side of a dynasty league. My least favorite part of a dynasty league is I honestly I wanted to think of something different, but it's the guys that aren't involved. And I wanted to ask a question, and I'm going to try to get all my questions to you until this is done, because then I'll just talk and wrap this episode up myself. Is at what point do you kick somebody out of a league for like not being competitive? Like, do you hit a point where you kick somebody out of a league for being non-competitive? Do you judge how good of a friend they are then to like, well, are they good enough of a friend so we keep them in? Because there are two teams in our league in particular that like pop into my head that this I will not name names, but I'm like, you mentioned like, 6 years of not hearing from a guy and perennial bottom two, three team. They don't make good moves. It almost seems like they're trying to tank their team. At what point do you just kick somebody? because we haven't kicked anybody in a long time. It's easy to kick people when they start doing collusion shit. If they're like, you know what I mean, like they're
Yeah.
falling outs, things like that. But like, at what point do you just say, listen, man, like you're just not invested, and it's time for somebody new in the league?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, I plugged in a charger, so we're good.
We're good.
Um, Man, that's a hard question. I am not a commissioner, and I think that's why I'm not a commissioner. I don't really, as much as like, I think it would come down to a league decision, honestly. Like, or it's just like we're all friends, I think, and it's like, hey, are you really bought into this, or do you like want to continue this? It's okay if not.
Yeah,
It doesn't mean like,
we're not
hey,
cool, or yeah,
we're not cool anymore. It's like, hey, if you don't want to be in this, it's okay.
yeah.
I think that's kind of where it needs to or would be like the step first before just being like, hey, yeah, you're just not doing your team anymore. We're just going to kick you. It's like, well, then it's like,
Damn, yeah.
I would be like,
I
hey,
agree 100%.
yeah, I think it's more of a conversation like, we're all friends. Like, it's very easily just be like, hey, you got to either pick it up a little bit because
Yeah,
you're not doing anything, or like, do you still want to be in it? Because who knows if they're not answering, if they're not doing moves, if they're not making moves, they're not setting lineups, like
maybe then I'm gonna miss it.
maybe they're not going to miss it. Yeah,
I
so
like
who
that.
knows?
I like it.
What
Once
else you
again,
got?
asking these because who's ever watching, I think like, I wanted to give like a nice foundation. If we talk schedule, I want to really give like the
Yeah,
framework for Dynasty and how our brains work as we talk about our league. Future episodes, we start doing Dynasty rankings. I think the
yeah,
foundational thought of how the both of us think and approach
totally.
the league as a whole is going to be imperative. So I thought
Yeah, I mean,
it was
with that, I
worthwhile.
feel like adding on to like the whole dynasty thing, I don't think you're going to start a dynasty with just random people.
No,
Like, and
and I would
I
argue that you shouldn't.
like
It's got to be a
exactly. So
close
like,
knit friends.
I wouldn't do that. And you touched on it, like family, friends, girls, guys, whatever it is. Like, you're
Yeah,
going to be close. So I think you're able to have that conversation about the future. Like, we've been doing it for 12 years. Hey, we're all in different points of our lives than we were 12 years ago,
yeah.
and it's as simple as that.
Yes, it's got to be with people that like in literally in 5, 10 years you still want to have
Yeah,
as close, if not a closer relationship with. And it's
yeah,
supposed to be, I look at it like literally a fundamental piece of our relationship, you know?
hmm
So
yeah.
I love that. Do you have anything else on Dynasty League, on the NFL schedules, anything like that?
No, not really. I'm excited to get it going. I think that there's still going to be, I think, some moves come around from free agency that hasn't happened yet.
June
Um,
1st is going to be interesting because that's when a lot of that shit opens up. I think you're going to see the AJ
yeah,
Brown trade, but we'll talk about that in 2 weeks,
exactly. Yeah. So
So
I'm really excited for that, and I think that's going to be like a next big thing that we're going to be able to touch on
yeah.
when some of those big moves start happening. So that's
I,
yeah. Right now, the schedule, nothing. Aaron Rodgers is cool,
yeah, let's
but
fucking rock
we've
it.
definitely been there. Yeah.
Let's close this out then with our kind of a check-in on our NBA and NHL playoff
Let's do it. Let's
predictions.
do it. I was going to bring it up earlier, when you said you were talking about like the Pistons and the Cavs and things like that. But so far, right now, the Cavs have beaten the Pistons, and that was
Yeah,
what I said was going to happen. Um, but unfortunately, we are both out with the
Wolves.
Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, I think that
Did you
lasted
watch
48
any of those
hours.
games?
Oh yeah, yeah, I've actually been watching them now. I didn't watch the Cavs series, but I watched the last two Wolves Spurs
Yeah,
games. And did you watch the Thunder and Spurs game last night?
I did not watch that game, but I
Oh
did
my
watch.
God.
I did watch like game 5 and game 6 for the Spurs and Timberwolves. And I was like, we screwed up by
Bad, bad. And
bad by you.
watching the Spurs win last night too. Listen, I have one request of you. The second that this pod's done, go and watch the 10-minute NBA recap of last night's
Yeah.
game. After watching Victor last night, I think the Spurs win the finals.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I'm like, holy shit, it's over.
After watching them play the Timberwolves, I just don't see a team being able to beat
No,
Wemby and the team that they have over there. I just
no,
don't see it happening.
no. So I'm gonna obviously, but I'll change just because whatever. I'm gonna go the Spurs beat the Thunder, and I'm going to say that the Cavs beat the Knicks and the
Yep.
Spurs beat the Cavs in the finals.
Yeah. Even though I just said that nobody's going to
I'm
beat the
moving my
Spurs,
goalpost, but yeah,
I'm sticking with I have to
respect,
stick with it. The Cavs are going to beat the Knicks.
respect.
They're going to go on to play the Spurs. And right now, they're going to beat the Spurs. Even though I don't think it's going to happen, that's what I call.
That's the move. And on that note, I'm going to tell you why betting preseason championship is the most foolish bet that you can make in sports. And that goes for the MLB, it goes for the NFL, and it goes for the NBA. I don't know
Okay.
hockey preseason championship betting enough, but for the MLB, NFL, and NBA, you should never make a preseason Super Bowl, championship, or World Series bet. And there's no better example than before the season, the Cavs were plus 750 to win the championship this year going into the Eastern Conference Finals, having just beat the number one seed in the East, the Cavs are
Yeah.
plus 2,000 to win the NBA Finals.
What?
Yep. Never make a preseason bet on who's going to win the finals because it's always, 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 unless you have the heavy on favorite, it's always actually going to be worse off championship week.
Wow. Okay. I mean, that makes sense. That does make sense. So I have a question for you. I'm going to stand up because this chair is starting to hurt a little bit. So I have a question for you because
Yep.
I don't know if it was 2 years ago or something, but there was something that you messaged me on, and it was about the Brewers winning the World Series. There was
hmm
a time there. It was not at the beginning of the year, but it was a time where you could put a certain amount of money on the Brewers winning the World Series, and they had the best record in baseball, but they were
Yep.
still unbelievable
Yep.
odds. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Exactly. And that's what I'm getting at is that was a real bet last season. So if you would have bet on the Brewers to win the World Series before the season, and I'm obviously going off pure
Yeah.
memory. It was like plus 3 or 4 thousand um 2 seasons or like prior to the season. And even like midway through the year when they had the best record in baseball as they were rocking and rolling, you could still get those odds on them winning the World Series. And even going into the playoffs, I want to say it was even still like plus like 1,500. And they had the best record in baseball. And like this is like August, September. And
Yeah.
you're like, why would you ever take that risk and place that bet before the season
Yeah.
when you can actually see it play out?
A little
Um,
bit. Yeah.
the only time that I would ever make that call is if you're picking like a literal Hail Mary team, right? Like this year, the Browns are going to win the Super Bowl because like if the Browns come out with that easy schedule, I'm just talking because we brought it
Yeah.
up earlier, but like the Browns come out with that easy schedule and you literally believe that this is the Browns year and they go 10-6, you're never going to get plus 50,000 odds on them, which they
Yeah.
are before the season. But if you're
Yeah.
picking like a legitimate contender, wait. Always
Yeah.
wait. Always,
So
always, always wait.
I would have loved to see that with like the White Sox when the White Sox had one of the worst years in baseball, and
If you would
now
have bet
they
on them to like
are.
make the playoffs this year, that would have been a
Yeah.
phenomenal bet to make because you can get the odds on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's some things to think about that I've never bet or looked that far into betting.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool to think that there's like that you should just wait. But there's so
Just
many
wait.
people out there that are like, oh, I just put $100 on this team to
And I can
win
win
it all.
750 bucks. This is my team.
Yeah.
This is our year. But that's who they get. They
Yeah.
get the
Yeah.
amateurs before the season to throw down the money, not
Yeah.
knowing that there'll be a million better buying opportunities throughout
Yeah.
the season for
Yeah.
any of those top 10 teams.
So there you go. Listen up. If you are here betting and you think at the beginning of the year that you want to bet on who's going to win it all, don't do it. Wait it
Wait.
out. You'll get some better odds.
Unless you're
There you
calling the
go.
moonshot like the Browns.
Yeah. Which if you're betting that,
Save your money. If you're saving that, just
yeah.
send it to me.
Yeah.
Just send it to me and don't.
Donations.
Yeah, it's donate it to me instead.
Yeah. That's funny. That's good. Man, that's good.
And NHL, Vegas won. All of our teams are still alive, so we're rocking.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't pick a team to play against Carolina in the Stanley Cup finals. I
Did
just
you
picked
not?
Carolina to win it all. Nope, I just picked Carolina. I said
Amateur.
Carolina's going to win it. They're still alive, so can't really say
So
amateur. I got a couple of my teams still alive.
yeah,
Both
you
my
have one more
champions
team than
still
me.
alive.
So
So who's the real amateur?
So who's the real amateur here, buddy? Hey, if you think
So
the Cavs are
funny.
going to win, plus 2,000 odds are staring you in the
Oh
face,
man, I
buddy.
might have to. I'm gonna state that
Throw like
some of these.
throw like $50 on it.
Oh man, how incredible would that be?
Call your shot. You
No, I
just
mean I
said I'm
would.
still
I just
sticking with it.
right now I'm in a state that doesn't allow it.
Luckily, you know a guy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So do you have anything else you want to add, or
No,
should
man.
we wrap this thing up?
I think we wrap this thing up. I think next week we start actually doing some player rankings. We start having some real fun. But
Yes.
man, thank you guys as always for watching. I hope if you're thinking about starting a dynasty league that we, sold you on it. Hope we gave you a nice framework for how to do
Yeah.
it successfully. Um, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
How else you want to
So
wrap this thing up, bro?
yeah, as always, I am Brady Keiss. I'm here with Sutton Sabinash. We are Cleats and Spreadsheets. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, always at Cleats and Spreadsheets. Find us. You got clips. You got the full pod. Yeah.
Rock and roll, man.
Shout us out. There you go. All
Appreciate
righty.
y'all. See you next week.
See ya.